Experience Podcast Edition.
Yes.
As you can see, we got all 3 hosts today and one very, very special guest. Now, you guys know we are usually the go-to in Cleveland when it comes to highlighting entrepreneurs, giving y'all something to do, some people to support. And today, we got to run for our money. Emily is here from Destination Cleveland. You guys might know her as a hashtag queen, hashtag this is CLE, if you guys don't know. But this is Cleveland. It's one of the premier places in Cleveland when it comes to coming to Cleveland and figuring out what to do. You know how it is. You always go visit a place and you're like, what are some things to do? This is the place we go find the information from. So today, we're going to get all the deets because it's time to get outside. The snow is starting to melt. Yes. And Emily is going to let us know who all that we should be supporting and things that we should be looking out for. Without further ado, welcome, Emily.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's
a big setup.
She's good at what she does. She doesn't want to do well. She does this.
No, for sure, though, I could never do it as great as you. So, if you don't mind, introduce yourself to the people and let them know what Destination Cleveland really is.
Happy to. So I'm Emily Lauer, and I'm on the Destination Cleveland team. I lead our PR and communications team, so part of our larger marketing team. But I think, it's interesting, right? You say, like, I do it. No, like, we've got a group of 50 plus people.
Nice.
Our job is to tell people who don't live in Cleveland what makes Cleveland so awesome, right? To get them interested and then get them here, help them figure out what to do, what small businesses to support, what museums to go to. But we talk about the Cleveland experience, but what is the Cleveland experience, right? It's not just all of these buildings, it's the people that make it,
exactly.
right? So we have to be out there and get to know the people and get to know their stories so we can tell those outside of Cleveland, but also work with the business owners, right? Who have those stories, lots of stories of, I started a career in this and then I transitioned to this because it was really my passion. It was my side hustle for a little while and now it's my hustle, So we work with those businesses as well because we know that so many small business owners are everything, right? Yeah. They are the owner, the marketer, the accountant, right? The shopkeeper, the janitor. So we're really fortunate. We're a marketing organization. We market Cleveland. So we are able to share our marketing expertise and partner with other organizations in the community to help small business owners and entrepreneurs figure out how to market themselves so when visitors come here, they're walking in storefronts just like this, So that's a little bit.
I always say, I feel like every year Cleveland gets better and better with things that are going on in the city, with things that you can participate in and shows, and we have a lot to offer. And so it's nice to know that you can go to a specific place, to your page, and see. I know that you guys update everything. You keep events that are coming, even for just that coming weekend, and that's great because a lot of times when people come from out of town, that's what they're looking for.
Absolutely.
What can we get into? They don't know.
I'm gonna say, I live in Cleveland. I go to the page.
Yeah, exactly. I do.
You gotta do what you do. I'm like, I didn't know we had this. Okay.
Well, you guys are an important part of what we do every day because so many of our visitors to Cleveland come to see family and friends. And so I live in Euclid. I work downtown, and maybe I'm not a great test case since I do this for a living. But so say I didn't do what I do for a living. How do I learn about different things to do when family and friends come to see me, right? Like, I could take them in my 15-minute drive radius, but that may not be the most enriching visit to Cleveland. That might get you close to University Circle, but it wouldn't get you downtown from where I live, right? So it's important that locals know what there is to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it. I feel like you guys have a perfect page to be a tourist in your own city sometimes, and you can just see what's here. Like, we know so much, and there's still so much to learn, or so many people to be introduced to. Every day somebody's doing something new, and we can just stay busy and stay connected. Which
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Give them some of that Cleveland hospitality.
Oh yeah, no, listen. That's kind of like you said. Well, when we do with the public experience, we like to showcase the beauty of Cleveland, which is the people who live here
Yeah.
and whatnot. Because we have some great people in Cleveland.
Well, and right, that's how we connect with each other as humans.
Absolutely.
Is through those stories, right?
That's right.
You know, watch the news at night, right? Like, stories are human centered,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
That's why we get up every day. It's to make connection, to strengthen connection. So yeah.
You guys do a great job of just once again, just showcasing Cleveland in everything. Cause I laugh. I'm like, I didn't even know that. Or just historical fact. I remember one time you guys did a whole expose on just some things that once again I didn't know about the city. Like you guys literally do your homework and like and embody what it means to be a real Clevelander. So I want to thank you guys for that.
Yeah, well, you know, we're fortunate because we're talking to people who are kind of all in different places in their decision to come to Cleveland, or maybe they've decided, but then they need to know what to do, right? So, you know, if you think about when you go to visit a new city, first you have to learn that the city's even there, that there's anything to do, right? You have to kind of have awareness and be inspired by it, right? You know, and then you start to consider, and you're like, all right, well, let me dig a little bit deeper. Like if I actually went, I'm probably not going to go just for one thing. I'm going to go for multiple things. I want to know, you know, so maybe I have an interest in sports, and my travel companion is interested in history.
Or
right?
food.
Well, I will tell you, girl, if the city doesn't have food, you might as well just not go.
Exactly.
But I kind of think that, you know, foodie travel is all travel.
Yeah.
Because everybody's got to eat. So, but right, so you dig a little bit deeper, and then you find some specific things, and then you pick the weekend. You're like, all right, like what's happening this exact weekend, or these 3 or 4 days. So yeah, that's everything on our website. Kind of goes from, you know, awareness and inspiration, all the way through when you're here, you know, what you can do, and if you need help, you know, we've got the Cleveland Visitor Center, which is down at East 4th and Euclid Avenue. The whole Cleveland Concierge team is down there.
Oh, wow.
You know, they can help you if you're in the moment and maybe what you plan to do doesn't sound so interesting anymore. You know, so that's one of the visitor services we provide, and we've got online, you know, concierge as well. So even if you don't want to interact in person, you can chat up with a Cleveland concierge.
Oh, okay.
So.
And can we just debunk this myth? Because everybody thinks since LeBron's gone, Cleveland doesn't see that much sidewalk traffic. Can we just break it down to how many people actually visit Cleveland, like on average?
Well, on average, I can tell you actually in a year. So we count it as visits, right? Because some people may come more than once a year. So the last year that we have numbers for, because they kind of take a little while to tally, is 2021. We had over 16 million visitors, 16.1 million visitors. You know, when
Cleveland?
Yeah, Cleveland. You know, and before the pandemic, we were inching up to 20 million. Of course, 2020, our numbers decreased by about 30%, but that was a lot better than it was originally predicted, right? When we kind of saw everything shut down, if you will, in April of 20. It's hard to do what we do when people are told to stay home, right? And so we had to shift, and part of the way we shifted was doing exactly what we're, you know, talking about today, and that was we knew when, you know, it was deemed safe to be back out and about and ultimately travel. For the Cleveland experience to be the Cleveland experience, we needed to support businesses here in Cleveland by encouraging locals to go support those businesses during the pandemic, right? Because if we as locals hadn't gone out and eaten at those locally owned restaurants, gone up to the corner bar that's locally owned, right? They wouldn't be here for a visitor to get to in 2023. So, you know, we kind of had to pivot in 2020, but now we're back to encouraging people to visit, which is exciting. So we'll get back up to 20 million, but right now we're at 16. We're on the way. You know, we've got some you know, we had some exciting things last year with the NBA All-Star Game that was here end of February, and we've got Women's Final Four in 2024. And the day after that, do you guys remember when there was a total solar eclipse back in, I think it was 2017?
Is another one coming?
There's another one coming, and Cleveland is in the path of totality this time. So we were only in the partial sort of eclipse the last time, and we're in the path of totality. Actually, the line goes through, I think it's Avon, but it'll, you know, it's broad enough spectrum. It'll still be, you know, it'll be pitch black downtown at around 3 o'clock in the afternoon on we're gonna say April 8th if that's a Monday.
That is so cool.
So the women's Final Four,
I'm
women's
excited
Final
for
Four
that.
championship will be Sunday night over at Rocket
Oh,
Mortgage
yeah.
Fieldhouse, Monday afternoon.
Nice.
Gonna be the total solar eclipse. So and people travel for those.
Yeah.
Why not come to Cleveland, right?
Come on with it.
I've seen I have an Airbnb, and I've seen people come in for one night for a concert, for a Browns
Absolutely.
game, for the Cavs game, and they'll
Absolutely.
come in for wine festivals, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, events are a big draw in
Mhm.
Cleveland. You know, concerts, like you said, and then those big ones, obviously the biggest draw.
Mhm.
But I think it's also the smaller events, the community events
Yeah.
that can kind of round out somebody's itinerary. If they're, if you have friends and family coming in, and maybe it's a smaller festival, or in Cleveland we've got Bright Winter Festival, which is at the end of February,
Oh,
music and arts festival outside
Yeah.
in downtown Cleveland, right? Like that's a true Cleveland event to go to.
Oh yes.
Music is at our core, right?
Oh,
And then you
yeah.
put us outside in the middle of winter.
And it's outside of Not Cleveland without it.
Well, it was like 65 degrees 3 or 4 years ago. It was at Bright. It was like,
Oh,
wow.
nice,
I
nice.
missed that one.
Yeah, well,
Right.
well,
Yeah,
we still have
usually
time
it's
for this
freezing out
year.
here. It's so bright, but it's fun though.
We've been
You
getting
guys
some
haven't
good
gone.
days. We
Right.
have been getting some. We got some
Yeah.
horrible ones this winter so far, but
It's
it's balancing out. It's balancing out.
That snow's melting out there
Mhm,
right now.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
So also what I guess learning you all do, I know you all market and promote both small and big businesses around the city, but you also are putting together something to help with businesses, especially like the smaller businesses, grow and be prepared for all this tourism that's
Yeah.
coming, right?
absolutely. So we have put together a marketing series, right? So it's a series of 4 workshops. Primarily for smaller businesses. Like I said, we know that small business owners, some of them may have come out of a career in marketing and switched, but maybe some of them didn't. Maybe they're more on the
Right.
operations side. So what we want to do is share that information that we have and help people leave these 4 sessions with, practical things that they can do so that they can start to attract some of these 16.1 million visitors to their business. And that might be directly that those visitors come there, or it might be because more Clevelanders know about their business, and then as their friends and family come in. Or I think one of the things about Clevelanders that we always hear from visitors is how friendly Clevelanders are.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
We'll talk to anyone, right? You walk down the street, you don't know people, and you're like, hi.
Happy to hear that.
So it's great to hear, right?
Yes,
Like it's our
yes.
people, and so the more Clevelanders that know about different places, the more it's kind of word of mouth, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, so this series that we're starting, it kicks off. Registration's open now. The first one's early February.
Okay.
4 sessions. It's intro. I'm gonna use my cheat sheet here,
Oh,
so I
sure.
get it
Come
all
on,
right.
yeah.
Intro
We're
to
on the
websites
beats.
and
We went on
digital
the
tools,
Oh, wow.
social media and influencer marketing,
Nice.
search engine optimization, content strategy, tips and tricks. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
And then earned media strategies, right? So that's what my team does at Destination Cleveland, and that's working with the news media.
Yeah.
Okay.
To get information out, to figure out what a story is, what makes something of interest to the news media. So it's a combination of all of those areas of marketing. That you kind of have to dabble in a little bit of each. You probably know, right, from owning this place that got to do a little bit of all of it,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You gotta provide a good experience so people who are doing Yelp reviews are saying great things about your business. You gotta have a social media presence so people can find you. You probably have to have a basic web presence, so and then the Google, right, your Google listing, gotta update your hours there, right? It's all over the board, but you almost if you're good at if you've created a product, maybe let's say, or you have a passion for something, like Brittany's record shop, right? Like she loved music, not necessarily a marketer, so you don't know. You don't know what you don't know,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And so that's really what we're doing is we're trying to help people learn what they don't know, how to use it, and really it's about helping businesses grow and thrive in Cleveland, because for Cleveland to thrive and grow as a whole destination, as a metropolitan area, our businesses have to be thriving and growing, and we have to want people who are outside to come spend their money here, to
Yeah.
invest their money here, to come live here,
Mhm.
right? We all shuffle our dollars around every week.
Yeah.
That discretionary pot, one
Mhm.
week I may decide to come in here and get a bottle of wine, the next week I may take it somewhere else.
Mhm.
Those are same dollars. We want new dollars to come in.
Yeah.
So,
I like it. So speaking of dollars, how much is all this gonna cost all of the small business owners?
it is free.
Oh,
That's
you're
all
balling on
you
the
need.
budget.
Free.
All of that for free?
Yeah, you know, we've been really lucky. We
Nice.
got some funding from the KeyBank Foundation. We're also working with a integrated marketing agency here in Cleveland, Falls and Co., and they're helping design the actual seminars. Right, so they're a company
Nice.
that works with businesses of all sizes. You know, long established Cleveland marketing firm, and then we've really talked to our civic partners. And I'm going to name them all because they've been amazing
Yeah,
to
please.
us.
Please do.
Yeah.
Please do.
You know, to help us figure out what small business owners, what's appealing to a small business owner, what do they need to know, what's relevant. So, you know, Cleveland Neighborhood Progress, the Greater Cleveland African American Chamber of Commerce, Greater Cleveland Chinese Chamber of Commerce, Greater Cleveland Partnership and Cozy, Plexus, the LGBTQ plus Allied Chamber of Commerce, and two more, maybe a couple more, Hispanic
wow.
Business Alliance,
Nice.
President's Council, and the Urban League, SBDC. So,
Nice.
small business.
Shout out.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
shout out to all of them.
Yes.
You know, it's been a group effort.
That's awesome.
So yeah, we're excited about it.
I'm
We're excited. They're filling up. There's still room though, so everybody
Okay.
can register,
You
right?
can show those guys up, by the
Yeah.
way, so don't go anywhere. I'll be right there. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they go through. I think the last one's in June, so spaced out. So
Okay,
the
good.
time commitment is,
Mhm.
you know, it's not all 1 week. It's not all 1 month because people have businesses to run
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I think another neat element of it is that we're also, for everybody who registers, they're going to have an opportunity to sign up for what we're calling like office hours, if you will, with people from Falls to get some one-on-one counsel.
Like a mentorship. Oh, I
Oh,
like
wow.
that part. That's a great
Yeah,
aspect.
so it takes it from just a couple of hours of learning and networking to actually like somebody who tries to apply it, maybe they have a question. They can get in touch with the Falls team during office hours.
That is
so
awesome.
That's huge. To go
yeah.
from information to implementation and have somebody hold your hand through it. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yes, because you know, with business owners, a lot of times it is a dream. So you don't know all the aspects of keeping your business running. So
Yeah.
shout out to you guys for making that
So I'll
happen.
definitely sign. Y'all won't let us sign up because I'll be signing up after this episode.
Count me in.
Right.
So,
What's next? What do you want to talk about now?
storytelling, because I feel like we've touched on it as far as the importance of having a story to share and then being able to have a platform to share that on. Can you tell us more about how Destination Cleveland helps with that process?
So that will be part of the workshop series, particularly the content strategy
Okay, great.
section. But what we do, I can tell you how we tell stories
Yes.
also. Right, so we have thisiscleveland.com, our website, and then obviously our social channels too. And we've done a lot in storytelling, particularly in the last couple of years. I think we all recognize what 2020 brought, in terms of people walking the talk, not just talking the talk.
No.
And we kicked off a series called Cleveland Creatives, which features all Cleveland creatives of color. And
That's awesome.
to bring some recognition, we did it as a video series available on our YouTube channel, and obviously cross-promoted it. Across, Instagram, you could see it and, link out to it. But, we were finding those interesting personal stories, that then translated to the person's medium from a creative perspective. And we do that through all of our content, right? Everything on our website, when we're putting content into our blog is, how do we tell a story? How do we engage someone? How do we put ourselves in the seat of the person who's reading? Because that's really what storytelling is about, right? Think about when you read something, what engages you, what catches your eye. So I think the core question, and my team does it from a media relations standpoint, is why would someone else be interested in this? Why would someone else care? So it kind of takes you out of the like really just wanting to focus on the words you want to get out and the story you want to get out, and say, well, if I were hearing this, like, what would make me go, oh, I'm going to take 2.5, 3 minutes to watch this video through. What makes it compelling? So we've got a great team.
You know what makes your website compelling to me? And I saw all the reasons behind it when you explain you do your motto and what you stand for, but then and for that you are welcome at the end. I love it. It's very catchy. It has 2 meanings, like we're giving you this information, so you're welcome for that.
Yeah.
And you are welcome to come to Cleveland. I like that a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was definitely a catcher for me to continue to read and like, okay, I see.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny. I always enjoy hearing people's interpretation, you know, of some of those lines. You know, we evolved the Cleveland Visitor brand. We launched it, relaunched it, launched the evolution this past summer. It had been launched in 2014, and you know, if you think about 2014 Cleveland, our reputation, you know, was a little bit different than our reputation today. We hadn't hosted, you know, a successful and peaceful Republican National Convention. We hadn't hosted MLB All-Star yet. We hadn't hosted the NFL Draft, still in a pandemic, where people came and had a great experience. And, you know, our research shows that, you know, once you come here, changes your perception, you know, so much more significantly.
No more stick on lake. No more of that.
Right? Yeah, like all of it. But and for that, you're welcome. It was kind of like, it was a little bit, you know, when we launched the brand in 2014, a little bit of like chip on our shoulder, like for that you're welcome. Like surprise, and for that you're welcome. You know, but I love this sort of like new interpretation of the, you know, you're welcome to come here and you're welcome for all of the information we've served you. So yeah, that's
a new double entendre for us.
That's right.
I like it.
That's right. So
And I'll say one thing I genuinely like about Cleveland, this Cleveland and what you guys do is that you guys come from an authentic place. Like, you know, we've seen the, how can I say this, puff pieces where, you know what I'm saying, man, rescue a dog from tree type ordeal and whatnot, but it's authentically Cleveland. Like, Cleveland is, you know, it's like, how can I say, you gonna say all the time, we're a big little city, right? But we're authentic people. We're more, not saying white collar, but blue collar. Like, we like getting our hands dirty. We like interacting with people. We're not, how can I say this, we're people. And we like being involved with each other and whatnot. And I like the fact that you guys come from perspective, not like a perspective of coming outside in. You guys are in.
Oh yeah.
So thank you guys for that.
And a lot of people on our team, you know, born and raised Clevelanders, right? I'm born and raised Clevelander. You know, I think there's probably a little bit more than 50 of us, and I don't know the percentage, but if I had to guess, I would say at least 50%, if not 75%. You know, are born and raised and or long time. You know, what we say, I think maybe this encapsulates what you're trying to describe, is what we say to visitors. You can come and be yourself, because we're going to be ourselves.
Absolutely.
What you see is what you get.
That's a great way to describe it.
You know, it's like I think about when I go to certain places. I think about, you know, well, do I have to dress a certain way? Probably not going to act a certain way. It's probably more just like I'm going to dress a certain way so I feel like I fit in. But no, in Cleveland.
What you see is what
you get.
Indeed.
And we're not afraid to say hello and start talking to you
Absolutely.
and get to know who you are. So
Yeah.
We're a beautiful melting pot.
We are.
We got a little bit of everybody.
We do.
117
and being by that
ethnicities.
lake makes it so
And here in
beautiful
Cleveland?
here.
I didn't even know that.
117 ethnicities.
Wow.
So, oh yeah, the lake.
Yeah, the
Talk
lake
about-
makes it just so beautiful. There's so much to, in the summertime, just look at it. Even in the wintertime, it's pretty.
It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's one of the things that people don't think about Cleveland is our natural assets, our outdoor recreation, right? We've got the lake, we've got the river. You know, be down on the east bank or the west bank of the flats in the summer on an evening and you see people paddleboarding and then a freighter comes through. That part scares me to death, but you won't see me paddleboarding. You know, you see the boats out. You know, then you've got Edgewater Park and what the Metro Parks has done.
Metro Parks are so
You know,
nice here.
like, and then the national park, right? We have like, between the two, I think it's about 55,000 acres of green space.
Wow.
Right? So we've got a lake in our front yard and national and amazing regional parks all around us.
Yeah.
So,
Waterfalls and everything.
Waterfalls,
Yeah.
even a waterfall in the city of Cleveland. So, yeah, no, it's.
I love Emily has all the facts because I'm like I live here in Cleveland. Like I'm here every day. I didn't know half these things.
Stick with me. I got all these
That's
things.
what I'm saying. You say
I may have to look it up. If I can't talk to somebody on an airplane and at least get them a little bit interested in Cleveland, I probably didn't earn my paycheck to be on that airplane.
No, that's good stuff.
But I do. I mean, as living here, I've reached to find out what to do a lot.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm ready to go out, if I'm not just eat from restaurants to things to do, I always look. And it's nice to have somewhere where you can just go down the list and say, okay, we may try this or we may try that. That's important. I need that.
Absolutely. I mean, right, we're so lucky in Cleveland. There's every type of food. You know, you can get it quick serve. You can go table and sit down. Right? Like, everything.
Now, I got a question, because you
Oh,
got
gosh.
Because you know, you got the hookup everywhere. I want to know, what are some of your favorite hidden gems around Cleveland?
That was right here.
It's bad for me to call out certain places.
No, I just want to know
No.
the one where you like, you know what? I hope it's not busy because I need this today.
You might have caught me at a moment where I'm like still thinking about my
Discovering.
my visitor weekend in Austin was this weekend, so I'm very like,
Oh.
but like, I had great food now. Like I'm still like dreaming of barbecue and Mexican food, right?
Yeah.
So
When you go travel, do you go to travel to try to get people? Like, how does that go?
how do we do our marketing?
Mm-hmm.
I would say most of our domestic marketing is not done in that way, with one exception. And it's in the meetings and convention space, right?
Okay.
So, have a Huntington Convention Center in downtown Cleveland. And it is built to host trade shows, meetings, conventions, right? Because it has meeting rooms, it has the big trade show, floor where, we hosted the American Bus Association a few years back, right? And there were the big buses. Yeah, who knew, right? Like,
I didn't know they had a convention either.
oh yeah. Oh, like
They
there's
had
an
an
association for everything.
I bet.
Right, so the way that those events come to Cleveland is there's usually a person whose role is to be the meeting planner, and they, they know how much space they need, how many hotel rooms they need to house their attendees, and most of that business is very much traditional sales in, it's relationships, it's face-to-face. We were just last week down in Columbus at a meeting planner conference, so interacting with meeting planners and telling them about Cleveland. And you have to know sort of a whole different set of facts, if you will, because you have to know what our meeting space is and all the details around that. But the other part of it is, if you've ever gone to a conference or a meeting, people also want things to do at night. And most of those types of events have one or two big night like parties or something, right? We're so lucky to have places like the Rock Hall, like Cleveland Museum of Art, and even just some of the independent venues.
And we're like a
show
family-friendly
people off.
city too.
We call it, when we talk about sort of adding your family to your meeting or convention, so say if you're coming on business, and it starts on Sunday night, right? Well, you should just come early and bring your family, and they can, you can do things as a family, then send them home, so they can go back to school on Monday, or stay late. Say you have an event that goes through Thursday, and it can be a family, or it can be, somebody who's single or a couple, just stay a couple more nights and get beyond downtown, things like that. So
There's a lot of little nooks and crannies.
It
A
is.
Yeah,
lot.
there are a
lot.
ton of nooks and crannies. So, but yeah, no, any little like sort of, I would say authentic Mexican for me is always a hidden gem, and there's a lot of them around town. But there's one kind of on the Cleveland Lakewood border, La Plaza, and it's a taqueria,
Listen.
and it's
I'm gonna write that down when I watch this again.
it's Lakewood Heights Boulevard,
Sounds
maybe.
great.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
So I don't have the address memorized, but my car can get there.
All right.
So
I like
yeah.
it. What else was I gonna ask
say?
you?
I don't know why I thought Emily goes to other places like this place isn't like Cleveland. Let's wrap it up. Let's go home. Because we're in Austin, like this isn't like Cleveland. That's how I would be if I was Emily. Like, you guys are not as good as Cleveland. Let's go.
Yeah.
back.
Do you secretly compare? Like, you know what? Home's a little bit. I got something a little bit like this at home. It's probably a little better.
Yeah, I mean, right, and I know a lot about Cleveland. Our whole team knows a lot about Cleveland. So, you know, I joked with a friend today, and I was like, well, yeah, so I had a great, like, long weekend away, and I was like, I could probably write it off on my taxes, though, because every day I was, like, you know, looking and like, oh, that's a good idea, or we do that better. I was like, okay, but, right, like, it's kind of research all the time, but it's really fun research.
I bet.
I want to ask you a question because, like you said, 2014 we had like a resurgence, right? What would you say? Would you credit to that? Because once again, like you said, during that time we were in how can I say a different space then. What would you say were the steps or things needed to help resurge the city as a whole?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, if you think back, you know, a little further back to 2008 when we were kind of the poster child for the foreclosure crisis, right? Not great, but you know, I think it woke people up, and I think what we saw was more collaboration and a concerted effort to really try and like identify what some of those building blocks and elements were for Cleveland to instead of making sort of small incremental changes that don't ultimately they move the needle, but it takes a lot of them to move the needle, right? You know, I think that you saw the civic community and, you know, working with private enterprise and with the public entities to start to say, what is it that we need? You know, in 2014, of course, our friend Mr. James also announced he was coming back. So, you know, while, you know, businesses are still, you know, doing well on East 4th Street, you know, he is a draw and he's a big draw. And so that helped bring those outside dollars that I talked about, right? It kind of puts Cleveland back on the map because every time we host one of those big events, it gets the Cleveland name and it gets visuals of Cleveland out there. So changing perceptions is, you know, the first step in this. And I, you know, in some cases it's forming perceptions, but there's still enough people around to have the mistake on the lake, right? In their mind, right? So we've got to change those perceptions. We've got to create positive perceptions with the younger generations who don't know that, thankfully, right? And hopefully never will. I hope it's in no history book text anywhere or any marketing textbook. But you know, collaboration's such an important part of it. And I think that when Clevelanders can come together and we put our ego, our individual organization or individual people egos aside, and we do it for the betterment of this place that we all love and we all want to see grow, you know, that's the first step. Obviously the dollars help too, right? Like, you know, there was a huge amount of investment. Len Komorowski, who was the former just retired from being president of the Cavs organization, really involved in downtown development, and he said, you know, if you don't have a white hot core, you know, it's hard, you don't have anything to emanate out from that core into the neighborhoods, right? And so there was this concerted effort to get investment into downtown, to redo big pieces of downtown. Obviously, you know, Public Square having been a big one before we hosted the RNC. And you saw things like the old Cleveland Trust building that Heinen's converted into a grocery store. And we wanted to have residential, and residential was starting to turn downtown. Like, we were starting to see more conversion. Like, what we do, I think, so well is we adaptively reuse buildings. Instead of tearing them down and putting something new up, people have figured out, you know, how to adaptively reuse this space that maybe it's not needed for office space anymore, or in the warehouse district it's not needed as warehouse space, and they've made it into living, you know, quarters. And so when you have, you know, Downtown Cleveland Alliance had set a goal of 20,000 people living downtown by 2020, and you know, and then Heinen's came in and put the grocery store in, because that's a big part of it, right? You know, we're here in South Euclid, just across from a Giant Eagle, and it's close to, you know, it's close to where people live. People want that close by. So you saw those like key building blocks coming together, and you know, it's obviously 2020 was hard, but you know, when you talk to Michael Deemer and his team over at Downtown Cleveland Alliance, they can give you the numbers that say, for X number of restaurants that closed during the pandemic, this many more actually opened. It's actually, it was a net gain for downtown Cleveland in terms of opening. That's amazing.
No,
That's amazing. That's people living their dream, is what that is.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I'm about to say, because I love downtown. And I love the flats. I love, just like you said, I just love what we have done and able to count. And then we're creating longevity, because everything from, like you said, like the casinos to Cleveland Clinic. I love what Cleveland Clinic has been able to do as far as bring in a lot of traffic also. I know everyone talks about Lebron, but I would say Cleveland Clinic has brought in a lot of healthcare professionals and just people around the world. So listen, I think if you're not from Cleveland, what are you doing?
That's right. Why not? Why not?
You're welcome.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, that's what we got to do. I think ultimately it's it's about the dollars, but it's also about bringing more people in to live and work here and play here. There's plenty of room, right? There's we have kind of the rush minute. I'm fortunate. I come in on the East Shore way to downtown every day, so I have 4 lanes at my disposal. Maybe not the same on every interstate, but we have to get young people back here and wanting to live here. And I think once they're here, once they see it, experience it, meet the people, we're fortunate that remote work, right? Like you can come live here and maybe have this, be working for a tech company, based elsewhere, and your salary goes a lot further in Cleveland, Ohio than in Silicon Valley.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm a real estate agent. I can tell you right now, it definitely does. You get square dollars per square foot versus the East Coast or West Coast.
Yeah,
it's no brainer.
It is absolutely.
We don't get all those natural disasters. We have snow.
Exactly, we get snow.
We do have snow.
We have hurricanes. We don't have hurricanes. We don't have earthquakes.
You can toboggan and you can ski and you can all of that stuff.
See, the way we talk about that is we have 4 seasons, right? You live down south and your 4 seasons aren't quite as definitive.
No, you definitely feel it here. And it's getting better too. Like I definitely don't like the snow, even though I'm born and raised.
Sure.
I don't like it. But the fall has become so beautiful here.
Absolutely.
The colors and we still have a little bit of the warmth. So it's been nice. It's been really nice these last few years.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We trick or treat in the heat.
I did
In
this
Cleveland.
We won't go down the global warming path as to what's happening, but
I was gonna say, y'all are making global warming so real good right now.
It's good right now.
it's making Cleveland nicer into later in the fall.
But when that time comes, you can go to This Is Cleveland. You'll find a great pumpkin patch with apple picking, maybe a good festival at the park.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
We have something in every season, right? Bright winter for the out to celebrate winter, right? Carrots of Anya to try and scare winter away. The Slovenian, that's the Slovenian festival that happens in late February maybe.
St. Patty's Days are epic.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. Every year.
Oh yeah.
Food, parades, all of that.
Absolutely. And then Dingus Day, the day after Easter, which is a Polish celebration. So, there's something kind of all year round.
For everybody.
Yeah, for everybody. So, what else? What other burning questions can I answer for you?
I don't know, because I was going to ask one about the stigma around people not supporting each other in the city, but you perfectly answered that already without being prompted. When it came to collaboration and money and bring people back to live here. So that was my next one. I have a question.
Okay.
So for the team, and I know you can only speak for so much, but where do you all want to take this? Because this is Cleveland, Destination Cleveland, and the whole moniker, This is Cleveland, it has kind of taken a life of its own. It started off kind of smaller, and it just continued to grow, continued to gain community partners. So where do y'all want to see this going, and how can we support you all in the process?
Oh, she's good. She's
Question.
good. You're welcome. I told her earlier. You're welcome.
Speaking of natural disasters, Cleveland has. You know how tornadoes, but we absolutely have branding.
Oh, that's funny. I think that, where we want to see it go is that, people continue to choose Cleveland, right? And we see that visitor number grow every year. And it's not just about the numbers, but that people come to Cleveland, that we're able to attract people to Cleveland, and then we can connect them to the experiences that illustrate our diversity, our creativity, our inclusivity, right? There's not a once we get to this number, we're done, right? Because we can continue to grow the travel and tourism industry. But we also want to do that in a way that helps stimulate growth and helps stimulate growth across the community. Because it's not, right, it's, rising tides lift all boats.
That's
right. And that's part of what, kind of to tie it back to this marketing series, part of our initiatives are really, they're aimed at ensuring that we are more equitably and inclusively talking about Cleveland, right? The evolved brand I talked about a little bit earlier, we were looking at evolving the Cleveland brand before the pandemic, and that work kind of slowed down. I talked about when we weren't attracting visitors, and after all of the events of 2020, when we looked and we had a really thoughtful process, and I think this goes to your question about how can you support us. And we got into the community and we talked to thought leaders and business owners across diverse communities in Cleveland, and we found out, we heard some tough things, like we found out that not as many people knew who we are, what we did, and why it mattered, right? But we also found out that small business owners were confused by how many organizations there were and what each one did and how that would benefit them. And we also found out, and a lot of this series is really rooted in trying to counter this, is that people didn't have a reason to trust us, right? We didn't have credibility in all of the communities we needed to have credibility in. So what we thought was authentic marketing of Cleveland, other people didn't think was representative of Cleveland. That's a hard pill to swallow, but we swallowed it to make it better. Because we want someone to look at our website and see themselves, right? Because if you don't see yourself when you're looking at visiting a place, you're not gonna go, right? So how you guys can support us, I mean, this is amazing, getting out and helping us share the story of Destination Cleveland. Also tell your friends, bring your friends and family to visit, have them tell their friends, right? So much of it's word of mouth. And then I think give us a fair shake, right? We always say, ask us the question. We may not have the perfect answer, we may not have an answer, but we're willing to find it. We're willing to work with people. It goes back to that collaboration, right? To help everybody grow and thrive.
I like that. See the genuineness in the answer. You got my stamp. Ma'am.
See, Emily, I usually have a special buzzer to let the audience know when you're dropping gems. You just dropped the whole thing right there. So
whole basket of gems.
A whole basket of them, but
Thank you for not having that buzzer.
Listen, we'll play it back, okay? Because she just said.
We're gonna put the timestamp in the chapter notes.
Yeah, because that was good right there. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs need to be able to understand that sometimes you have to take in the things you don't want to hear about your business in order to grow as a business. So that was a gem right there in itself, guys. So
I mean, I think the best people you can have, on your team, in your tribe, are the people who help you see your blind spots, but they help you see your blind spots from a place of good intention.
So thank you, ladies, by the way.
Tough love, we know.
Between the two of them, they are getting me. But I appreciate you.
Like that.
No, of course not. But it's love. It's love, though.
Yeah,
it's all love.
It's all love.
That's right. Got to do it from a place of good intent.
Absolutely. So since you've been dropping gems left and right, Emily.
Yeah.
And now we ask every guest on the show, but what are 3 things you want someone watching this episode to get from tonight's episode from you?
Great question.
Oh, great question.
I tried.
3 things. Well, one, I want them to know that there is definitely this free marketing series.
Were you balling on a budget?
That they can register for to learn more
Yeah.
about ways that they can get more information out about their business and get some of our visitors and some of our locals to walk in their door or patronize their business. I would say I want them to know that Destination Cleveland, we're a nonprofit organization, and so we do this for the betterment of Cleveland, right? Like that is our purpose. And we bring 50 plus people to work every day who are out there trying to tell people who don't live in Cleveland about Cleveland, and that takes, we call it a flywheel, right? Like you have to keep telling people about it. So keep talking about Cleveland if you're in Cleveland and you have business in Cleveland. And the third thing I want people to walk away knowing, I would say, is that they are, particularly entrepreneurs, they kind of have a twofold, like, amazing purpose and effect on what we do. One, they're offering hospitality experiences to our visitors. So keep going, believe in yourself, and offer that experience. But as residents of Cleveland, they are our most important asset from a marketing perspective, because not only are they the ones that people are meeting on the streets when they come to visit, but they're the ones that are talking great things about Cleveland when they're out and about. So,
speaking of this free workshop, how can they sign up? Where do we go?
well, I think that the best place is for them to go to your platforms.
Oh, we'll take it at the Pull Up EXP on Instagram.
Yes, guys. We'll have that in the show notes, and we'll have it on
Show notes.
we'll have it on our website. So thank you guys for that, because like there's no excuse. You guys talk about nothing to do inside Cleveland. Yes, there is.
Nobody want to help.
Yeah, nobody want to help.
Breaking it down.
They're bringing it to you. Come on now. What more do you want?
You don't have to leave. It's a web series. You don't have to leave the house.
It's an in-person series.
It's in person?
It's in person. It's in
just,
person.
okay, so Falls.co is just helping putting it all together.
Yeah, they're helping create the content for it. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's
Well,
downtown.
get up. Come on downtown. It's stuff to do. And if you don't know what else to do while you're there,
That's true.
This is CLE.
And ways to grow your business.
Absolutely.
Sometimes if you find yourself stuck and you might feel like you might not be getting any more new customers. You may have a following and you have your current customers, but sometimes you get kind of stuck and you might need to know what you need to do to get to the
Absolutely.
next level. So yeah, that's a great plan.
Refreshers are always good, right? Yeah. So if they don't get to your platform, the easiest place to find it through us is if you go to the Destination Cleveland LinkedIn page.
Love
We
it.
posted a link to the registration page
Also
there.
have it in the show notes also too.
Yeah, we'll have it in the show notes and make it readily available for
And it's free. I mean, I'm still blown away. I'm like, how much is it going to
And
cost?
free parking.
Yeah.
Free parking also.
Oh,
Downtown,
come on.
free parking.
Oh,
you
yeah,
want
free
us
parking
over with that
downtown.
one. Yeah.
That alone.
Yeah.
That alone.
You want me over with that
That
one.
alone may get people down there because they're thinking, okay, I have to pay for parking if I
Yep.
do go to this. That's good
8
stuff.
a.m. to 11 a.m. all 4 of them. So they're in the morning.
Oh, man.
So if you think about particularly like restaurant owners, right, and we wanted to,
Mhm.
you
That's
You wanna
it.
get them out
Yeah.
right
get them
before
out.
lunch.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
And like I said, it's free. I'm on this. I'll talk about it. I'm still wrapping my head around that,
That's
but
good. It's taking away the excuses. The only
Exactly.
the
Yes.
initial investment is in yourself, which is awesome.
that's right.
You get there and they'll get you further. And it's a collective. Like, she named some amazing community
Absolutely.
partners. The fact that everybody's working together for our good is amazing. And the fact that what she said, like, they're inclusive and they're doing the work of making sure you don't feel excluded in their inclusivity. And that goes for whoever your you is. There's 117 ethnic groups here, as she highlighted earlier, and everybody has a chance. So
Absolutely.
take advantage.
absolutely.
And for that, you're welcome.
And we just want to appreciate you coming down here.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Sitting
Oh,
with
my
us.
pleasure.
Yes, very
Thanks for having
informative.
me. Happy to represent my colleagues who are putting this
You
together.
did a great
so.
job.
No, absolutely. Because that's one thing we about. Our motto is collaboration over competition. Because we want to once again
Yeah.
embody that portion of Cleveland. Because we believe Cleveland is a great place for entrepreneurs as a whole.
Absolutely.
I think there's room for everybody.
Absolutely.
is.
There
Room
it
for
is.
everybody.
Did you have anything else that you'd like to talk to the audience about at all?
I think we've covered it all. I mean, great to you asked me what are my 3 things that I want them to know, and
All right.
they know them hopefully now.
And by the way, you're episode 92. By the way, Emily. 92. We have had 92 episodes with 92 great entrepreneurs.
Right.
So we just want to thank you once again for helping us get to that road to 100.
My pleasure.
Yes.
Thanks
So.
for having me.
And once again, so we got it on wax. So this will be the beginning of a beautiful relationship with this Cleveland.
Oh
So
yeah, we're gonna be
Yeah.
added to those community partners, guys. Don't even
That's
worry.
right.
Yes. So we're all about that. So yes, we thank you again. And guys,
Thanks
we
for
can't.
sitting with us.
I'm sorry. And I just want to thank our audience once again. You guys show up every week, and once again, and by the way, our audience is comprised of Cleveland. By the way, we got people from all over that actually watch
Okay.
it. So we thank you guys. And once again, she just gave you.
Come and visit. Come
That's
and
right.
visit Cleveland.
Come and
Now you
visit.
see some of the reasons
Pull
why.
up for the experience.
Exactly. I know you guys want to come see me, but now you got other reasons now. So
All the reasons.
Well, we thank y'all again, guys. And once again, see you guys next time. Okay.
Bye.
Peace.
Peace.